have to. For me, as a tall driver, it was more difficult to get in because the car was so short and the cockpit was really, really narrow. Let's say even the driver change was quite complicated then, but the car itself was very basic. Talking of 2021 standards now, very basic. But as I said back then, it was a beast and had also good success. It didn't win the 24 Hours of Nürburgring, by the way. Unfortunately, a couple of times we were really close to winning it, but it never happened. But I think we won some other major races, so it was a good car. I really enjoyed.
Successful enough, exactly.
Yeah.
But when you also, Nick tells me the first guy under 8 minutes at the Nordschleife.
That was a lap.
Yeah. Just drop the mic.
I didn't know back then. It only counts when you do it in the race, and in the qualifying we ended up with 8.0 or 8.01. And then I did the start of the race, and I was pushing so much to do a short stint, and to have only like not even half a tank, just to be able to break the record. And then they said, yeah, but we also want to win the race, so you have to start with the full tank. And then with the traffic, you have maximum 2 laps, and then you hit the back markers from the other groups, the slower cars. So I knew I had to get it done in lap 1 or 2. And lap 1 with a very slow rolling start, you lose like 1 to 2 seconds from the start line already to turn 1 because you start so slow. And then I did like A00 point, like really low, like 0.2 or 0.3. So I just missed a couple of tenths. And then I already thought like, come on, you gotta be kidding me. That was so close. And then the second lap, that was the first time I did the Flugplatz flat. Back then it was a little bit more of a crest. And I thought, now I have to get it together. That's the only chance I have. And then onto Döttinger Höhe, we didn't have predicted lap time, but we had a running lap time. So you can already check like on the Döttinger Höhe on the bridge where you are roughly. And I felt like that was good. I had a good chance. And then I saw like 2 small and really slower cars, the back markers of the other group. And that I'm about to lap them. And that was in the very last corner in the last chicane. And I thought, no way that they're going to destroy my lap. And then you have to judge whether inside or outside. And last corner, I thought, okay, I tried on the outside, and they left the gap open, luckily. And then it was like a 7. To be honest, I don't remember exactly, but it was below 8. It was a 7:59.0 for something, I believe.
You should have it tattooed on you.
Yeah, really. I thought about it, to be honest.
Yeah. And obviously, because
like here.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, some people wouldn't even know that includes the GP lap, because everyone associates Nordschleife or Nürburgring times as like, a road car can do it less than 7 minutes, but that's not the full, including the GP loop either.
No, I think it would be like a 6:20 or something, 6:25. It would be on the normal lap. Back then it was super fast. The track is currently changing like every year. So they repave some parts, there's more grip, it's less bumpy. But back then a 7:59 was really a really, really good time. I think now it still is a good time because the horsepower got reduced and the aero even further. Back then, it's still fast. Let's say it's still fast.
yeah, it's fast. I mean, it's super fast. But what were the top speeds? Because I only got into my first GT3 race was 2019 VLN3 with Schnitzer and Sheldon. So already the BOP was quite, as in engine power was really quite reduced compared to everything else. Do you know what top speeds you were doing, saying down the Döttinger Höhe back in Z4 days? Or
I think it was roughly the same, to be honest. I think probably the pull was a little bit better and we ran lower, so the aero was also better. But I think the top speed itself in the very high end probably was quite the same, I would say. I would like to tell you 300, but that would be a lie. So.
It would sound really cool as well.
I did 300 on that lap, but just on that lap.
On that lap. 7:59 is super fast. But for the listeners that don't or haven't driven around that circuit, I think it's the best place in the world. There's nothing like it, particularly if you can get that clear lap, because there's not many laps that you actually get around there where you don't really overtake anyone, or you only overtake 1 or 2 cars. It's always the first couple of laps when you're on full tanks, apart from if you do qualifying for the 24 and then you have everything. And you
did last year.
Yeah, that's the first time I've had nothing to overtake. It was weird, actually. I felt really alone on the outlap in particular, where you're trying to find your way and look, because you probably only got 1 lap to get it bang on, to look exactly where all the wet dry bits were, if it was like it was last year, and then just send it and hopefully you stay on the circuit.
I think you send it quite well.
What's your fastest lap around the Nordschleife, Nick?
I've done 7:59 something, a low 7:59, and that was, I think, in one of the qualifying races the start of last year. And when Martin was chasing me, I can't remember But I think we did basically the same lap time, and on that lap we got overtaken by an Audi that was flying. On that lap we got overtaken and still did a 7:59. He was flying. It must have gone past me at 10 kph faster. But at the time in those qualifying races, every manufacturer is told to do what they can. Not all do at the right point, but so then at least it can be even by the 6 hour and the 24, and they can get the BOP and the power somewhat adjusted.
Just right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my best lap time now isn't quite as quick.
No, maybe not in a 235.
I didn't want to ask you, Jake.
I've since been in a road car in a Lotus Elise. I'm not one of those. I think they call it Touristenfahrten or something. When it's like a toll road for a few hours or something, and it's some of the stuff you see turn up there.
Yeah, also
it's crazy.
But that's the thing about the Nordschleife, isn't it? The whole experience. That's why we were talking about it being the best race in the world. Hopefully, we can have fans back this year. Let's fingers crossed. I don't know what the situation is like in Germany with this COVID, but with us, we are looking like we are starting to come out the end of it. So they're hopefully thinking, June time, we should be, relatively back to the whatever the new normal is. Hopefully, exactly the same. So then we can have fans, maybe a few out on an outdoor setting by the time the 24-hour comes.
I hope so. I don't know exactly, obviously, but they just read on the newspaper. We just read on the newspaper that they are thinking of how do you call it in English, like going back to the normal life a little bit to change the rules a little bit, that you can be outside. Some stores are reopening already, so I think it's going a good way. And I would also hope that there are some fans back, because mainly on the Nordschleife, the event is just so much better when there are fans, and because they're all over it. And if it will be back to normal, Nick, we have to go for a lap on Wednesday or Thursday, on Wednesday or Tuesday, Wednesday, just around the track, even with the bike, and just say hello to the fans, because you will see it's just a massive party, and they have so much fun. They appreciate the drivers coming around, and we should definitely do that.
Yeah, man, we should, because we didn't get to do. I haven't done it yet, because 2019, unfortunately, our car was, well, I think most of the cars, unfortunately for BMW, were out by hour 3, hour 4, and then last year there were no fans. So as an whole experience, you didn't get the parade or anything like that. So for sure we need to do that.
Isn't it?
And now you're a race winner, so
isn't it Bunchen where all the the party goes off basically?
It's pretty much everywhere, I would say. Like a couple of years ago, I took my bike out for not a lap on the track, but around the lap, just to see some campers and even have a beer with some of them. And it was Tuesday afternoon, I remember, and the party was on. I can tell you, that was like a massive party. And I think some of them, they don't even know the outcome of the race, because they start partying early in the week. But that's just part of it. And they were so happy, and your driver, and cool, come over. And everybody is like not willing to help, but it's a big community. And they are just enjoying the racetrack and even the race. And I think most of them are around for many, many years. And so us probably winning 2010 already with the M3 GTR, but then GT2. And it's just a big community. And I think that's also what we miss in racing, just the spirit of it, and the people they're cheering for us, and they're clapping and enjoying what we are doing. Because in the end, it's also entertainment,
Yeah, it's all about the fans. And for the Nordschleife, like you say, you have almost different cults. So you'll have like BMW massive fanboys, Mercedes massive fan base, different manufacturers, different classes that everyone maybe takes allegiance to slightly. So then those fans, if a BMW goes by, all have the flags up and they're waving, and it's really like nothing else I've ever seen in my life, which is super cool. And I mean, racing wise, like I say, it's one of the best things I've ever done.